Where would be the best place to position a web server that needs to be publicly accessible from the Internet but should be isolated from the internal network? DMZ. A DMZ, demilitarized zone, is a special area on a network designed to host public-facing servers, like web servers, email servers, FTP servers. It allows users on the Internet to access the server while keeping it isolated from the internal network, reducing the risk if the server is compromised. QoS, quality of service, manages traffic priority, not server placement or security. VLAN, virtual LAN, segments a network but doesn't offer the same public-facing isolation as a DMZ. Which type of Internet connection is restricted to areas near the central office and can utilize existing wiring infrastructure? DSL. DSL uses the existing telephone line's copper wires to deliver Internet access. However, it has a major limitation. The farther you are from the central office, CO, the slower and less reliable the connection becomes. Most DSL providers recommend being within about 3 miles, 5 kilometers, of the CO for good speeds. That's why DSL is restricted to areas near the central office, even though it reuses common phone infrastructure. Which media access method do NICs use when they monitor the cable for traffic and transmit only if the channel is clear? CSMA/CD. NICs, Network Interface Cards, use CSMA/CD, which stands for Carrier Sense Multiple Access with Collision Detection, in traditional wired Ethernet networks. Here's how it works, step by step. 1. The NIC listens to the network cable to check if it's clear. This is the carrier sense. 2. If no other device is transmitting, it will send the data. 3. But if 2 devices send data at the same time, a collision happens. 4. When a collision is detected, both devices stop, wait a random amount of time, and try again later. This process reduces collisions and keeps the network organized when multiple devices share the same communication line. What is the maximum throughput speed enabled by the 802.11g wireless specification? (54 megabits per second). The 802.11g wireless standard was released in 2003 and became popular because it operates on the 2.4 GHz frequency band, provides a maximum theoretical data rate of 54 megabits per second. If you're connecting to a Wi-Fi network that uses 802.11g, your device can theoretically transfer data at speeds up to 54 megabits per second, although actual speeds may be lower due to interference, distance, or network congestion. Why the other answers are wrong. 11 megabits per second, That's the max speed of 802.11b, 2 megabits per second. This was used in the very early 802.11 standard, 4 megabits per second, not a standard value for any Wi-Fi protocol. What type of IP address is 192.168.15.211? A private IPv4 address. In the world of IPv4, we have two main categories of addresses: public and private. Public IP addresses are used on the Internet. These are unique and allow devices to communicate across the world. Private IP addresses are used inside local networks, like in homes, offices, or schools. They are not routable on the public Internet, which means devices with private IPs need a router or firewall with NAT, Network Address Translation, to access the Internet. There are three specific private IPv4 ranges. You can see under. What is the name of the set of rules that a firewall operates by? ACL. A firewall is a security device or software that controls the flow of traffic between networks. To decide which traffic to allow or block, the firewall follows a set of predefined rules. This set of rules is called an access control list. An ACL is a list of rules that defines which IP addresses, ports, or protocols are allowed or denied, whether the traffic is inbound, coming in, or outbound, going out. The action: permit or deny. Each rule is processed in order, and the firewall applies the first match it finds. Where can users pay to create a virtual machine to run their own server? Public cloud. A public cloud is a cloud computing model where services such as virtual machines, storage, and applications are provided by third-party providers over the Internet. These services are available to anyone who wants to pay for them, which makes them ideal for individual users, small businesses, and even large enterprises. When you use services like Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, or Google Cloud Platform, you are using a public cloud. These platforms allow you to create and manage virtual machines, databases, and more without owning any physical hardware. Which cloud computing service model provides remote access to applications through a monthly or annual subscription fee? SaaS. SaaS, or Software as a Service, is a cloud computing model that allows users to access software applications over the Internet, usually through a monthly or yearly subscription. With SaaS, you don't need to install or maintain the software on your local machine. The provider hosts and manages everything, including updates, security, and performance. You access the software through a web browser or lightweight client. What is the name of the diagnostic tool used to measure the strength of a wireless signal? Repeater. A repeater is a network device that receives a signal and amplifies or regenerates it before retransmitting. This process helps extend the range of a network by ensuring that the signal remains strong and clear over long distances. What is the name of the diagnostic tool used to measure the strength of a wireless signal? Wi-Fi analyzer. A Wi-Fi analyzer is a diagnostic tool, software or hardware, used to measure the strength and quality of wireless signals. It helps identify signal strength RSSI, interference from nearby networks, channel usage, dead zones or weak spots in coverage. Why the other options are incorrect? Tone generator, used to trace and test wired network cables. Multimeter, measures electrical properties like voltage and current. Network mapper, maps network devices and connections, but doesn't measure wireless signal strength directly. Which network protocol allows users to retrieve the contents of an internet page from a web server? HTTP. HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It's the main way your web browser talks to websites. When you open a website like www.google.com, your browser sends an HTTP request to the website's server. The server answers by sending back the page content, text, images, buttons, and links. So basically, HTTP equals how your browser downloads a website from the internet. Which tool is used to secure an RJ45 connector to the wiring for an Ethernet connection? Crimper. A crimper is the tool used to attach or lock an RJ45 connector onto the end of a network cable, usually a twisted pair cable like Cat5e or Cat6. Here's what it does. It pushes the tiny metal pins inside the RJ45 connector into the individual wires inside the Ethernet cable. This creates a secure electrical connection, allowing the cable to send and receive data. Which service will allow computers in a small network to locate each other by using host names without connecting to the internet? DNS. DNS, Domain Name System, is like a phone book for computers. It helps computers find each other using host names like myprinter.local instead of remembering complicated IP addresses like 192.168.1.10. In a small local network, DNS lets devices talk to each other by name, even without internet access. For example, you can type \office-PC instead of the IP address to connect to another computer on the same network, thanks to local DNS resolution. Which configuration should a user set up to isolate the rest of the network from a public-facing web server? DMZ. A DMZ, or demilitarized zone, is a special area on a network where public-facing servers, like web servers or mail servers, are placed. It acts as a buffer zone between the Internet and your internal private network. If someone tries to attack the server in the DMZ, they can't directly reach the rest of your network, because it's isolated. Think of it like your network is a house. The DMZ is like a secured front porch, where guests can pick up a package, visit the web server, without being allowed inside the house. What is the function of FTP? File exchange. FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol. Its main job is to move files from one computer to another over a network, like uploading or downloading files from a server. You might use FTP to upload your website files to a web server, download large files from a remote server, share files between computers over a network. What is the term used to describe the use of cable modems for Internet access within a standard cable television infrastructure? Cable broadband. Cable broadband is a type of high-speed internet that works over the same coaxial cables used for cable TV. It uses a device called a cable modem to connect your home to the internet. This technology allows people to watch TV and use the internet at the same time, enjoy fast download and upload speeds, connect multiple devices with strong performance. Which type of network switch has configuration features that can be modified via a user interface? Managed switch. A managed switch is a type of network switch that gives full control over how data moves across the network. It can be configured through a user interface, such as a web browser, command line, or management software. With a managed switch, you can create VLANs, virtual local area networks, monitor traffic, set security rules, control bandwidth, troubleshoot network issues easily. Which of the following network types uses Bluetooth technology? PAN. A PAN, Personal Area Network, is a small network that covers a very short distance, usually just a few meters, like around your body or your desk. Bluetooth is a perfect example of PAN technology. It connects devices like wireless headphones, smartwatches, keyboards, and mice, smartphones. Bluetooth creates a private, short-range network between your devices. No wires, no internet needed. Which tool would you use to locate a cable in a cabling bundle or trace individual wires in a cable? Toner and Probe Kit. A toner and probe kit is the go-to tool when you need to. Find a specific cable in a bundle. Trace a wire from one end to the other. Identify cables that aren't labeled. How it works. The toner sends a signal through the cable. The probe detects that signal by touching or hovering near cables. It makes a sound when it finds the right one. It's very helpful in environments like server rooms, patch panels, office ceilings, or walls with multiple cables. It's very helpful in environments like server rooms, patch panels, office ceilings, or walls with multiple cables. A wireless access point. In infrastructure mode, wireless devices like laptops or smartphones connect to the network through a central device. This device is called a wireless access point. Think of it as a bridge between wireless devices and the wired network. It connects wirelessly to devices like phones or laptops. It connects via cable to the wired part of the network, like servers, printers, or the internet router. It manages communication and keeps everything connected.